What's up YouTube, I'm just another guy and welcome back to Ebbsfleet United. So here we are now 6 months into our first season in the Premier League. And we'll go into the information because we'll have a look at media prediction. Of course, we are predicted to finish dead last. There is no way around that. We were always going to be predicted dead last. We're a very small team. If we actually see our season ticket, the amount of season tickets we have are 7,615. We only have we've got an improved 12,522 seater stadium. It was improved over the summer, I believe it was. So, you know, that our stadium size has grown, but still in comparison to the rest of the league, we have still got a very, very, very small fan base. I reckon even if we had a stadium size of maybe, the King Power Stadium right here, the King Power, Stadium, even if we had a stadium around 32,000, we still wouldn't fill that, so we've got limitations to how far we can grow, and for that, that's why we predicted 20 and things like that. I am now a legend at the club, which is, of course, good news. Doesn't really do anything, but, apart from I have respect for my players and also people joining the club, I think they sort of gain my respect as well. And people through the youth system as well just seem to instantly respect me. That's what I think legendary status gets you anyway. I could be lying there completely. But let's jump into this. So, as I media predicted 20th, we are a very small team with a very small wage budget. Everything is small at this squad. But, we've got a professional squad personality apparently, and that's what we were going to try and push into the league table. So currently halfway through the season, or just over halfway through the season, we find ourselves in 10th place, which is really good actually. I'm happy with that. I'm happy if we were the season were to end today and we were to finish 10th place, I'd be happy with that end of season position, because it's something we can build on, it's something we can grow on, and it shows we're going in the right direction. And realistically, and I guess you could possibly even say 7th place is a European spot. I will put that in quotation marks, but of course it depends on cup winners and things like that. And more often than not, a cup winner will get European spot instead of 7th. But still, technically, we could say that we're 3 positions off 7th place. And actually, even if we look at the table right now, you could say that technically we're in 9th place, based upon points. Goal difference is the only thing that's keeping us back right now. So it's been a very good start to the season. I mean, it could have been better. It could have been a lot worse, though. So overall, I'm happy with mediocre start to the season, or at least, an average start to the season for our first year in the Premier League when we've got 5 promotions in a row. It was always going to be a tough task, but the fact that we're 10th is extraordinary. We currently have ourselves 9 victories, 3 draws, and 9 defeats. So from that, I'm picking up that we're an all-or-nothing team. We either all get a win or we lose the game. And that's something we're going to have to improve upon. Of course, we can't be losing these many games. But the fact that we've got 9 points, the fact we've got that 30 points mark already means that we're technically 10 points away from survival. So to be to be only in January and to have that already, or to be near that already, is a really good accomplishment for a team who are predicted to finish dead last, who are considered no-hopers. We've scored 33 goals, which is a very decent amount of goals. Actually, you can see only, if we look at the teams behind us, or in front of us, I should say, in terms of goals scored, it's Chelsea, United, Tottenham, Newcastle, Liverpool, and Man City. These are big teams. These are teams that are doing very well in the league as well. The fact that we're above people like Southampton, Arsenal as well, where teams above in the table, shows that we've got the goal-scoring prowess in the league to do quite well. It's, again, that defensive problems arise, as defensively, we are really poor. If we could improve defensively, if we could, okay, at this point in the season, it'd be only like 3 goals and we'd be probably around where we should be around here, just surrounded by the Cities, Aston Villas and Arsenals. But, those 3 goals or whatever, these 3-4 goals that, compare us to City and whatever, those could be the difference between, a defeat and a draw, or a defeat and a victory even. So we need to improve upon that area. Yet again, it is still a major worry area to defence, and it's just something I constantly seem to struggle with. And considering we're not scoring as many goals as we've had in the past, which is why we're in 10th. If we had Albagoza here, it could be a different story. But of course, that never worked out. But let's go into the transfers and have a look at what we did, because of course, getting promoted to the Premier League, a whole world of possibilities open to you. So for that reason, there was a lot of action in the summer and a lot of things took place. So if we go to the outs first, Liam Fontaine and Carly Osborne both left the club. college, whatever. Both left the club. Fontaine was a really key player for us last year. He's gone off to Dundalk of the Irish division. He was originally a free transfer. And Osborne as well left. He's now at Luton. So them two players left, Oswald Bagozo and Matsuyas, whatever. They both left as well, free transfers, but I already talked about them last episode or last video. So the first proper action that happened once all the transfers and all the players had left our clubs on free transfers and things like that, we sold Moldovan. He was just a player that not fell out with me, sorry, but just fell out of favour with me. He had a good year with us, so 2 halves the season in the League One and in the Championships. But I decided I was going to go with the new goalkeeper we got last year. I can't remember his name. Polowski, I think that's how you pronounce that. Again, when I see these names, I just call him Pau or things like that because I don't really read them in my head. I just recognise the names most of the time. So yeah, with him coming into the scene, Moldovan just wasn't really needed, and as a result, I wanted to sell him. It wasn't like he was on a load of wage, but he was on a little bit of wage, and that little bit of wage could have been spent in other areas, and that's the logic I'm thinking of. Because we have such a small wage bill, I've got to sort of free up anywhere I can. And, do I need to be paying whatever wage he was on? I don't remember what wage he was on, but do we need to be paying that for a backup keeper? No. And the fact is, we brought in 250k for him, so I'm really happy with the fee we picked up there. Elsewhere, Diallo left for 950k. I'm surprised we picked up the fee we did for this guy, and he's not even playing for Wigan, so sort of wonder why they signed him for that fee as well to be in the under-21s. But, whatever, I don't care, I got the money. So to pick up nearly $1 million for this guy, yeah, I'm shocked with that. And overall, I'm really chuffed with it as well, because after a year, for him to get that much money is really, really positive. Next guy to leave was Kasha. I said this in the last season that I wanted to get rid of the guy. I didn't think he was good enough. So 1.4 million. He has joined Sunderland in the Premier Division, and as you can see, he's not done too well. He's not doing particularly well. So to me, I've not missed out on anything by letting him leave and letting him go out to a Premier League team. And as well, the fee we picked up is a decent fee, a good fee. Maybe Sunderland could sell him on for more. That probably would. In fact, I think Sunderland will sell him on for more, because if he continues to play the way he is, I wouldn't be surprised if he was forced on after a year or a bit. But yeah, they could obviously sell him on for more, but he's playing in the Premier League now, so that's going to push his value up. But he's not missed here. Now, next two guys to leave were Jack Charles. They left for Doncaster for a fee of 250k. He was a backup player for us last year, so 250k to pick up. Again, good fee. And Ridehaig or Ridehalg, whatever, however you pronounce this guy's name, I always call him Ridehaig. He left for 235k. He was here last year as a backup player, but I had no plans of keeping him. I even said this again last video. I said I had no plans in really keeping anyone on that left-hand side. I was looking to rebuild the left-back position. So 235k, he's joined Southend, and it's a level he's definitely suited at League One. Elsewhere, loaned out a few players, but the next and the only real major guy we let leave was Chris Child. He did leave on the 9th of August for £1 million to Wolves, and he never got his chance to play. He did get his chance to play in the Premier League, but he never got his chance to play in the Premier League with us. I just decided, with the signings we brought in and a few things taken under consideration. As you can see, it's quite late in terms of my buying and selling process, because typically I like to get all my action done before August, and as soon as possible, really, so I can gel the team together. They can team chemistry can build, and then we can go be in the start of the season ready with my starting 11 clearly in mind and clearly in view. So Chris Child was sold quite late on because I decided I just didn't really need him anymore. And £1 million probably isn't a great fee for a player of his ability, because I think he is a good player. And to sell him to a Premier League team as well, that is for quite a cheap fee, maybe that could be seen as a bit foolish. But he's not really playing for them. He clearly is a backup player for them. But a really, really good player for our history for us. Quite a key player as well, because we never really had great centre-mid options majority of the time, just because of our budget was so restricted and so restrained. For that reason, Chris Child pretty much came to the team and was forced into the team, because we couldn't afford any other centre-mids who were going to propel us to that next level. And Chris Child ended up being the guy that did get us to the next level, down to pure luck. So Charles left the club. Another player who was a major part in us getting to the Premier League. He's no longer here, which is a shame. But elsewhere, a load of loan players that aren't really important and you won't really have to worry about, because the majority of them, in fact I reckon all of them, will amount to nothing for the club. Elsewhere though, to the ends, you already know about Olsen, who came in from Copenhagen, 19-year-old centre-back. Been playing very well for us in the Premier League. Really, I'm excited to see how this guy can go. Elsewhere, Manuel Waters. He's played quite a bit as well for us this season as a centre-mid, and he's doing decently well, 8.67, which is alright in my opinion. And again, growing and developing as a player, so Waters doing pretty well. Next guy. Free transfers from Standard Liège is I don't really have a clue how to pronounce this guy's name. Koulibaly. I think it's Koulibaly. I think that's how everyone pronounces it in my head anyway. But Koulibaly, I think this is a magnificent capture for the team. He's not got the best report in the world. You know, good Premier League player. Don't get me wrong, not a terrible report in the world, but not got the best report in the world. But the performances he's been putting in have been extraordinary, and he's got a great experience playing in the Belgian Pro League. So, you know, he's been playing at a decent level. He's been playing in Europe with Genk and with Standard Liège. So, you know, he's got experience at the high levels in the big game occasions. And for us to get him on a free transfer, I was happy with A, and B, by the performances he's putting in so far this season in the league. I'm really, really happy to have signed this guy for such an, you know, for no fee at all. Is incredible. So Koulibaly is come in and it's been an incredible centre back for us so far. Next guy brought in was Luke Ayling. He's a right back, 27 years of age, and he's our starting right back this season. He's English as well, which is of course a nice added plus there. But he's not been playing too well so far. As you can see, he's been a Championship player, League One player, pretty much all his career. The only time he's been in the Premier League side was with Arsenal as a youth player. And so this is his first time stepping up, which can be quite a risky move, you know, to get a player that's never played in the Premier League or never played in top divisions in and around Europe, to ask him to step up and then, you know, to do it well. It's quite a risk. Okay, it was a free transfer, so there's no financial risk really there, but still, it's a risk to put a right back in, not proven at the level as a newly promoted team as well. It's quite a hefty risk, but it's not really paid off as well. But you know, give it time. I think he can still grow into something. If not as a free transfer, you know, any fee we pick up if we were to let him go would be a decent fee. So yeah, here's Ayling. Hopefully, as I say, he can grow into it. He had a good year last year with Reading. He's had some good years in the past, so I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that he can't play well, if that makes sense. That sentence got away. But yeah, but I'm sure he can do well. Maybe he just have an off season. He had an off season with Reading, and he bounced back. So we'll have to see how it goes there in the second half of the season. Next guy. All of these guys are on free transfers, but after they left their club. So Bakker, I think it is, 20 years old, striker from Netherlands. This guy caught my eye pretty much instantly. Some great finishing, composure, determination high, which is fantastic. And again, physically as well, he's pretty well rounded. Overall, just really attractive player in my eyes. He came from Hernov. Oh God, I struggle with this. Hernaveen. Yeah, he came from Hernaveen. There you go, got it. And he's been doing pretty well so far. As you see, 20 appearances as the striker, and a left attacking mid and right attacking mid. I do push him back there occasionally. 7 goals, 2 assists. Really good performances. You know, okay, not a load of goals, not a bundle of goals, but the good performances are the key thing for me. If he can play very well, and again, maybe he's not the guy getting the last pass before the goal. Maybe he's not the guy scoring a goal, but if he's the guy, you know, dragging that defender out of the position, if he's the guy, you know, seeing that pass that can then create the assist, I'm happy with that. So this guy, Bakker, I think it's pronounced. If he can, you know, continue to play well, I'm more than happy with that. Free transfer again, really good signing for the side, and really good progress, and quite a cheap wage as well in relation to some of the players. This guy, Bastian Ozipka. It's going to be butchered again. Bastian Ozipka. I think that's right. Ozipka, maybe Ozipka. I keep saying it, but every time I say it, it sounds more and more wrong. 30 years of age at left back. As I said, we needed to rebuild that left back position. This guy's come in and he's been, you know, sort of rotation. As you see, 10 appearances in the league so far. He's rotating it with the other left back we've signed. And you can see he's got decent history. You know, he's played in the first division of German football for a long time now. Okay, he slipped down to the second division with Frankfurt last year, but overall I thought he could do the step up well. And you see 6.83, it's not too bad. You know, it's what you would expect based upon his other average ratings. So, you know, overall not a bad player, and a decent report on him, decent Premier League player. So yeah, he's been doing decently well. And this guy, Jesse Lingard, a few people may know him because recently he started the main Manchester United's first league game of the season. before picking up an injury, which is a real shame. But Jesse Lingard is overall, again, a decent player. 26 years of age, experience of playing, or not playing for United, but being at Manchester United. Played for Hull as well in the Premier League. Not had a great record ever in his history, but he's taken us. He's joined us and he's stepped up. He's playing a lot better. He's playing more games, which of course is going to help towards his average rating. 26 years of age, so he's in the prime of his career. His report says he's a good Premier League player, and overall he was exactly what we needed in that left attacking mid, right attacking mid, and centre attacking mid role. He was another option, a pacey player as well. Overall, just a really good signing for the side. So Jesse Lingard there. This guy, Giuseppe Rizzo, he came in centre mid, 27 years of age. He's been playing incredibly well for us. Probably one of our best signings so far. As you can see, again, not really had much history in the top divisions in Italy. Serie A for 2 seasons as a first choice player. But apart from that, he's been in Serie B pretty much most of his career. And in past few years as well. But he's been playing really well on them levels. So again, to sign someone like this is a little bit of a risk, because you never know if they're going to take that step up, or, you know, even move to a new country. Well, but he's done it perfectly. He's just seamlessly slipped into the Premier League and continues to put in performances as good as he's done in the past. So yeah, this guy's been doing incredibly well, Rizzo, and a decent Premier League player, as you can see there, coming in and stepping into position. Probably, again, partly the reason why Child had to leave, because we had Rizzo come in. And look at his performances. You know, there's no question, there's no doubt that I did the right thing by letting Child leave. Next guy, Hendry. He came in as just a backup option at the left back role. We just, there was no one really good out there, which is a real shame to say. But there was just a lack of quality in the left back role. We're going to have to look to strengthen there yet again next season. But this guy, for a backup player, 10k a week, it's quite a lot, but it's only for 2 years. I could probably try and sell this guy on. As you can see, he wants to leave anyways. He wants to go out on loan. So yeah, Hendry there. Not the best signing at all, probably our worst. And this guy, Costas. Oh god, this is going to butcher. Sia Travanis. Travanis, I think, whatever. Sia Travanis. Right back, not too bad, 19 years of age. One of the reasons I signed him was because he was young, therefore he was going to accept a lower wage demand, which is, again, a positive and a bonus for me. But yeah, he's no right back, and a little bit of experience with Olympiacos last year, but apart from that, a little bit of potential in the lad, and I wanted to see how he would go. Plus, again, cheap wage, just for cover, I'm happy with that. And these last 2 guys we signed are both wingers. The first guy is Jero. He is coming in from the Spanish Division 2, he used to play for, again, Sevilla. He came in with Sevilla, not exactly playing a load of games for them, but he come in this year and jumped in pretty well. Okay, right now he's had a long-term injury, he's torn his hamstring, which overall will affect his physical stats, which is a shame, because he's very quick and that is going to affect his speed and acceleration. But yeah, when he's played, he's been playing well so far. So Jero is someone I'm really happy to have picked up. I say it's a shame that he's injured right now, but hopefully he'll come back and he'll start performing exactly how he's been doing in the past. 7 assists, 2 goals so far this season. His best ever. So yeah, there's Jero. And next guy, Jordan Ibby, was on deadline day signing. I just wasn't really happy with the left attacking mids, right attacking mids that we had still. So I was still looking around, still trying to get something, and I saw Ibby there. And I felt like I needed to pounce on him. As you can see, people will know him from Liverpool. He's a decent talent, a decent prospect for the future. Not really done a lot in the game. Highest ever is QPR for a few games 2 years ago. So, a little bit of a risk signing this guy because he's not really proven. And so far this season, not done too well. So, still waiting to see if Ibby will become any decent player. Still 23, still got a little bit of chance to grow. But, again, I think... I don't really like Ibby too much so far from what I've seen of him. But that could change over time. In a few injuries, he could be forced to the first team, and a consistent run in the first team may change my mind about him, change my opinion completely. So let's go into the fixtures now. A long look at the transfers, but we'll go into the fixtures and have a look at how we started our domestic league season. So a lot of friendlies in the build-up to the game. We went on a tour of Japan. We also won a few friendlies against some pretty small teams. FC Romania. Some people don't know this team. FC Romania actually recently are a team basically of Romanian immigrants who came to England and decided to start up their own team, just a local team. And from about the 12th tier, they are now in like the 8th or something tier or something like that or 9th or 10th, something like that. They've jumped up a lot of divisions in a very short space of time, and very recently they played in the FA Cup first qualifying round, because there are preliminary rounds and there's qualifying rounds. They played in the first or second qualifying round against Sutton United. I think they lost, but it was the furthest they've ever come in the competition, and they've got like all Romanian people apart from like 4 or 5 players. So yeah, they're an interesting team. I'd recommend looking them up if you can. It's like an article on BBC website, a decent read, decent video as well they add on there. But yeah, those are some friendlies. I went on a tangent. But let's look at how we started our league season. So the first game of the season, it probably couldn't have come any bigger. We played Arsenal in the first game at our stadium at home. You know, quite a way to introduce yourself to the league, and it was an ideal start. We conceded in the 14th minute and ended up going in at halftime at 2-0. Then we went 3-0 down. So, you know, we started off in one of the worst ways possible, having to fight back. But in 56th minute, Richard Levitt scored our first ever goal in the Premier League, and there was no better player, really, is there, on that field, in our whole team even, to have scored the first goal for the club in their Premier League history. So Richard Levitt stepping up there, being captain, scoring a goal, trying to get us back on our way. Jero got one in the 76th minute, and then for the last 14 minutes or so, we were trying to fight back, trying to get that equalising goal. It was unable to come, but we got a lot of the ball in the game, so it was very encouraging signs for the first game of the season. Our first win in the Premier League, and yet again, Richard Levitt stepped up, being captain, scoring in the 27th minute, helping us win our first ever game in the Premier League. Again, Richard Levitt is the guy for the club. In the Capital One Cup second round, we won 4-2, as you would expect, beating Tranmere quite comfortably, so there's nothing really to talk about there. Then we came to our first ever hefty defeat in the Premier League. We lost 4-0 to Tottenham, and this was really worrying because, of course, Arsenal, we conceded 3 goals pretty quickly against Swansea. We scraped it 1-0, beat Tranmere again, which was expected, but conceded 2 goals. So to concede 4, I was really, really worried about my defence at this point. And, you know, it was not encouraging signs out there, which really did frustrate and annoy me. But we did bounce back, 4-3 victory against Leicester, again conceding 3 goals, so still very weak defensively. But in the end of the day, some quick goals at the start, quick goals at the start of the game, and a very quick goal after the turn of the half ended up getting us a 4-0 lead. And despite the fact with our best effort to try and throw it away, we managed to hold on to the 4-3 result and managed to pick up all 3 points against a team that, you know, at the start of the season we were predicted to be battling against. Now we are, you know, well above them. After that, drew to Southampton 0-0. Pretty decent result, really. Keeping a clean sheet, which was great after 3 games of conceding a lot of goals. In the Capital One Cup third round, we ended up beating Liverpool at home 1-1 on a penalty shootout. Though we won 4-2. So this was a great result, beating a pretty big team for the first time in our history. So that was really positive. After that, we played Manchester City. Now, this is a team, of course, we played last year and actually did very well against in the Capital One Cup. This time around, though, at the Etihad Stadium, or the City of Manchester Stadium there, as it says. Not so good of a performance. We ended up losing 2-1, but there's still no close on the scoreline, so overall I'm pretty happy with that. And, you know, defensively, we didn't look too weak, so that's a positive there. Then we actually beat Chelsea 3-1, our first major scalp in the league. 3-1 victory there, and did we deserve it? Probably not, but we did score all 4 goals in the game with an own goal coming from our goalkeeper, and Selena getting an on-score sheet as well as Baka and Kalubi, whatever I said his name was going to be a second ago, getting on the score sheet. So Manchester beating Chelsea, that is a very, very nice victory. After that, we beat Aston Villa 1-0 and drew to Stoke 2-2 before, sadly, we were knocked out of the Capital One Cup 4th round, 2-1 at Swansea away from home. That's a shame because I thought the Capital One Cup was a competition we could go quite far in and maybe even try and sneak a win and get into Europe this season. So to be knocked out to Swansea, as well as we beat them earlier on in the season away from home, so that's even more of a kick in the teeth. Swansea, where did they end up getting knocked out? They ended up getting Wickham in the quarterfinals. That would have been quite an easy draw if we could have got there. They ended up getting Arsenal. That would have been a tough draw. They're still yet to know if they're in the final or not, I believe. But yeah, after that, after the Swansea defeat, we lost to Sunderland 1-0, our first defeat in the league in 3, so that was a shame. But we did bounce back. We then beat Hull City 2-0, Richard Levitt and an own goal from Todd Gane, helping us get a victory there before, yet again, more inconsistencies. We lost to Reading, 2-1, Olsen getting the consolation goal before we bounced back yet again. Nottingham Forest 5-2, 4 different goal scorers, Lingard getting 2, Baka again, one of his goals, as well as a Rizzo penalty and Ozpika. Before, again, just win-loss form continuing as we lost 3-0 to Liverpool and then bounced back yet again 2-1 against Wolves before once again falling and losing to Manchester United. As you see, we're playing them at home as well, which means later on in the season, maybe more towards the crunch time, the end of the season, where points really do matter. We'll be playing these guys away from home, which isn't ideal. We did bounce back again. We won 3-1 before losing it again 3-1. The reverse of the result that time. Actually, not the same result because it was home and home. Whatever, yeah. And this time we prevented our poor, win-loss form. We needed to get some consistency into our game. So we did beat Newcastle 2-0 and then drew to Swansea 1-1 before getting the FA Cup third round victory over Hull City 2-1 before yet again Arsenal beat us 3-2. And as we can see by the match here, look, they took another 3-goal advantage before we tried fighting back. This time we left it way too late. Levitt and an Olsen injury time goal ended up, putting on a brave fight back, but something that amounted to nothing. So, as you can see, just major inconsistencies are what are causing us to be in 10th place. And, if we'd have beaten people like Fulham, people like Reading, people like Sunderland, we should have beaten Swansea there as well, but that's not in the league. If we'd have beaten people like Sunderland, Reading and Fulham, we'd be in a different position. We would be at least, where would we be? That's like, as an additional 9 points. 9 points there, 39 points. We'd be up there in the European spots. We just need to sort out this consistency issue in the second half of the season, or hope that we can sort this out for the rest of this season. And then maybe we could still make a late push for Europe. If not, as I said, I would be happy with a mid-table finish. If we could finish around 10th, I'd still be happy with that. As long as we can stay well away from that relegation zone, help the club grow even more in its reputation, and then maybe next season we can start considering the likes of Europe. We're still in the FA Cup fourth round, so technically we could still go for a cup there, which I am going to do. I am going to try and win a cup as soon as possible, really, because to me, right now, even in this season, it would be the easiest way to get into Europe, because I don't think in the league, as you can see, consistently, we're just not good enough to get in Europe. But the FA Cup, I think, presents a very, very good opportunity. For the finances, because I think this is quite important, as you can see, we're now making a lot of money. The wage budget is increased because I sort of fiddled around with how the wage and the transfers allocated. So we now have 453k a week to spend. And as you can see on the transfers, we are currently spending just over 400k. But yeah, financially, we are growing. We are managing to sustain ourselves. That is largely thanks to the things like TV revenue and, ticket prices and increases and things like that. But I think I predict that we still need to expand our stadium. What is our average attendance per annum? Or average attendance, sorry, not our salary per annum. We'll look at that as well while we're here. What is our average attendance? Our average attendance is the lowest in the league, 10,000, and actually by capacity, it's the highest. 99.13% of our stadium is full every game. So we do really need to try and improve the stadium. I don't think the board are going to be willing to do that, though. They've just increased it very recently. It's such a shame we built our stadium so early on. We built our stadium in the after my first season, they announced they were going to build the stadium, and I moved into it for League 2. I think that was how it worked out again. The fact that we built it so early meant that the board didn't consider the fact we could be trying to get a few more promotions, and as a result, they built it quite small. But they built it with the idea that it could be expanded, but they built it very small to start with, which means we're going to have to spend a lot of money and invest a lot of money in expanding the stadium, when realistically, we built a stadium that put us in a lot of debt throughout the Football League, and now we're still having to pay more money to try and, it's just a lot of problems. The board should have done a lot better, and I think that it would be nice if there was a feature like that in FM 2015. I've not read up too much up on the game yet, but if you could talk to the board and try and say, what sort of attendance you'd like to deal with, or what's your plans for the next few years, so they can take that into consideration whilst building the stadium, that would be ideal. Because, like I said, I've got promotion now 5 times in a row, but our stadium is still, a League 1 sort of size. What's our salary per annum? That's what I want to check up on. Salary per annum, we are at 21.17 million. So actually not as small as I've been with a I've started with a non-league side before and moved my way up here. And I've actually had quite a smaller budget than this. So I've got a decently sized budget, but still it's small to comparison of, City, Chelsea, United, and Tottenham, Arsenal and Liverpool, all these people spending over £100 million a week. And I'm actually just below City in the league. 2 positions below them, I think like 6 points or 4 points below them. 3 points below them. So, by the end of their game advantage, it would be 6. So, we're not doing too bad. We're not doing too bad. We're doing very well with the money that we've got allocated to us. But I think this is going to be it for now. I've not really looked at my staff for a long time, and a lot of people have come in and out. Let's have a look at my training things. I haven't really talked about my training facilities either. But yeah, we'll look about the coaches right now. As you can see, I've got everything at 3.5 stars. Ideally, I'd like to push that up to 4. But as you see, everything, again, pretty well allocated. Really good coach here, Peter Cavengar? Oh, God, I'm so bad at pronunciation. English coach. He's actually an incredible defending coach, as well as Fran Albert, the Spaniard, who is an incredible strength coach. My under 18 coaching allocation is, again, pretty good, about equal to what we've got. We've got Emil Heskey teaching the attacking, which is very good, of course. He knows all about scoring goals, and that's ideally what I want him teaching the kids. Hopefully he's teaching them and not nothing else. But yeah, let's go into this. I guess we'll look at the squad and I'll wrap this up. We'll talk about some of the youngsters we've got coming through. Ivan, not played as many games this season, and when he does play, he's not been playing particularly well, which is a shame. Du Bois, whatever, I don't really know. He's been doing pretty well. He's only made 2 substitute appearances, but overall, like I said, I really wanted to slowly sort of push him into the team, try and develop him, try and get him towards that first team. As you can see, he's wanted by quite a few teams as well. PSG are after him, but I've got no plans in selling him anytime soon. Richard Levitt has been doing it incredibly well. 7.27 average match rating, 9 goals, so he's our highest goal scorer in the league. 18 appearances as well, 4 assists. Overall, Richard Levitt is stepping up like a charm. Selena is doing okay, but my wingers, I'm sort of struggling to find any consistency there. Richard Levitt is doing well. Bakker is doing pretty well as well. So is Rizzo, and Waters is doing all right, I guess. But the right attacking mid and left back attacking mid, I'm sort of struggling to find the right players. Lingard's doing all right occasionally. Right now he's on a bit of a poor spell, but overall Lingard has done well, I guess you could say. So right attacking mid role. Hopefully Jero will come back pretty soon, but that's still a few months away. So right now I'm stuck with Ibi or Selena, and they're just not really good enough. Michael West has played occasionally. I think he played in the league, in the cup actually. Oh, he's played in the league and he scored a goal as well. So he's managed to get an assist in every league. Shame he couldn't score in the championship. But yeah, he's been doing well. I've called upon him, but I'm not really too inclined to play Michael West. I would rather try and push through one of these players. They just need to play better, which is the main problem right now. My players aren't playing good enough at all the time. They play well sometimes. As you can see by the games, we've beaten people like Chelsea. Clearly we've got the capability, but they're not doing it consistently enough. So, yeah, this will be it for now, guys. Next time I will meet you back will be the end of our first season in the Premier League. Hopefully we'll have some good news to tell you about. Hopefully, we'll maybe have a cup under our belt, or at least, at least minimum get mid-table. 10th or above, I'd be great in the league. But only time will tell on that one. So, until then, guys, peace out.